Have you found it impossible to sleep next to your partner? Are you sleeping on a couch or an extra bedroom? Well, if so, this video is for you. And by the way, there is a plot twist in the end that really made me, was quite eye-opening to me when I saw it. So definitely stick around for that one. By the way, you may be confused at this point. You're like, wait a minute, it's Thursday. It's supposed to be talking insomnia. I know. But our guest for today had something came up, so she couldn't join today. So another time. So I thought I might as well do something different. So we'll throw in some insight here that I've been meaning to do for quite a while, because I often hear this very phrase, I can't sleep next to my partner. And some common reasons are a partner who is snoring or moving a lot. I just had a client tell me that their partner has nightmares. Maybe you're afraid of disturbing your partner. Maybe you're envious of your partner. Maybe just seeing your partner laying there sleeping is triggering. Could be many of these reasons, but the three first one there are definitely the most common ones I hear of. So here's what we'll do today. We're going to take a look at this in three parts. A, we're going to see why this, whatever it is, the snoring, the movements, etc., why this keeps you awake. And we're going to see in the B section here how we can meet this situation, and see how to get back to your partner, sleeping next to your partner in your own bed. All right, so let's jump right into it. Number A here is why this keeps you awake. And this can be, it can seem like pretty obvious. Like, of course I'm not sleeping because my partner is snoring, right? But that is actually not what causes the struggle that we call insomnia. And something that can be really eye-opening is to sort of ask yourselves these questions. Did your partner keep you awake before you had insomnia? Or do other people get insomnia from their partner snoring? And the answer, I think you'll find, is no. And that can be confusing, because you may think, well, yeah, that's true. Like, before it didn't bother me, but now, like, I just can't stand it. And I think the answer in this lies in understanding, like, sleep disturbance versus insomnia. So it is, of course, true that what your partner does or doesn't do, when they're just sleeping, for example, that can also be triggering. But what they do or don't do, that can create a sleep disturbance. Maybe not the part where they're sleeping, but the other things, the snoring, the movements, nightmares, that can cause a sleep disturbance for any human being. If their partner snores a lot, that can be annoying because we wake up many times perhaps. But that does not cause insomnia. It can never cause insomnia, because insomnia is a self-perpetuating, ongoing struggle where the fear of not sleeping just keeps us awake, and snoring cannot do that, because snoring cannot change our thoughts. Our partner's movements cannot change our thoughts and our beliefs. So that can lead to the follow-up question of, like, okay, so if you're saying that if snoring cannot cause insomnia, why is it that for me, the snoring just keeps me up all night and I worry about it all day? Well, really, I think we can look at it this way. Snoring can wake you up, totally normal, can happen to anyone, right? And when we wake up, we may think, what if I don't sleep? And that thought can make us hyper aroused and anxious, and that results in us becoming completely alert. We're very awake for a long period of time. And what we see here is that it's not actually the snoring that causes the wakefulness. It's the thought that comes from us waking up. It's the, what if I don't sleep? What if this never changes? What if this becomes the rest of my life? Those thoughts are what causes the hyperarousal that keeps us awake. And we can also see that leaving your snoring partner was an attempt at leaving that fear, the what if, the scariness, the hyperarousal. That's what we want to leave. That's what you wanted to leave. It was actually not the snoring that you wanted to leave. It can seem like it. I just want to get away from the snoring. But if that was true, then you would just go to another bedroom and sleep perfectly well and not worry about anything else in your life. You would have no insomnia, right? But that's not what happens. You leave the bed, you leave the snoring, and it can feel a little bit safer, a little bit better, and you can sleep a little bit easier, but the struggle is still there, which is sort of my point here, that even if you sleep more on the couch, life may not be that much easier, because now you're on the couch. Now we feel conflicted about that. Now we feel like I'm not sleeping like a normal person, and the day may still be filled with anxiety and thoughts about sleep. So, going back to number 4 here, we can only leave our fear for so long. We can only hide from our fear for so long. We can only find the couch or the extra bed to provide us safety for so long, because the original kind of the underlying idea that perpetuates the struggle, that being awake is not good, it's bad, it shouldn't happen, it's dangerous, it is still there. So very often, sooner or later, you're on the couch, and then the thought becomes, what if I don't sleep here? Or what if I can never get back to my husband? Things like that. And then, we still have a struggle, right? So we can leave the snoring, but we can't leave the fear. And I think that's really helpful to see. And which takes us to, our second section, which is B, and which is how to meet the situation. And we've already actually done really all of the work here, because number 1 here really is to understand the above. Because when we understand that it is not about the snoring, it is not about the movements, and it's also not about, like, the sleep envy. If we see our partner sleeping really well and we can't stand it and we leave, that again, it's not like we can wake up our partner and that makes us feel better than we sleep well. Some people try that. It's quite common, actually. But we see that that's not where it's at. It's again the underlying idea that I shouldn't be awake, and the fear that leads to, that is what creates a struggle. So understanding this is so helpful, because when we try to, like, just get rid of the snoring, get rid of the movements, get rid of the nightmares, if we ever could do that, our partner's nightmares, that is actually, we're engaged in a struggle that doesn't help us. So that was number 1. Number 2, befriend wakefulness. Always so helpful to just take steps towards making it more acceptable to be awake. And that can be so hard. And knowing that it's hard often makes it easier. When we think it should be easy, then it becomes hard. And just, again, it can be anything that takes you away from trying to force yourself to sleep is befriending wakefulness. Find your way. And you can look at so many of the success stories to see how people have found their way. And then C here is, like, how do I get back to my partner? Most of us want to sleep next to our partner in our own bed, right? So it often doesn't feel that good to sleep in an extra couch, in the spare bedroom or couch, or et cetera. So the question becomes often, when and how do I do that, right? So the question of when should I go back to sleeping with my partner, to me, is like you find the answer inside. If you're maybe new to this channel, you just started to understand what insomnia is about, right? And the idea of sleeping next to your partner is still really scary to you, maybe that this is not the time. On the flip side, if you find that, what, I've been hiding from this fear for so long, I've been avoiding sleeping to my partner for no reason, really. It's like, without self-criticism, like, you understand why that happened, but there's no reason for me not to do it. I understand that now. And you feel like, I think I should do this now. If you feel that way, then maybe now's the time. Maybe tonight is the night, right? And B, how, I think the most helpful here is to not think of it as an experiment. If we think, like, oh, let's see if I can sleep next to my husband, I've done all this education and learning, and now it's going to work. Now I'm going to sleep next to my husband really well. Let's see if it works or not. Then you're going to be self-monitoring yourself. And then if you don't sleep, you're going to think, like, oh, it didn't work. Oh, I have to go back on the couch, like I failed, all those things. But if you think of it as, like, no, this is not an experiment. This is a decision. I've decided to sleep next to my husband. And whatever happens, I understand why it happens. There's nothing wrong with me. If I don't sleep, it's just because of some residual fear. Nothing strange about that. And if you go back to your couch or the spare bedroom, again, self-kindness. That's okay. We were a little scared. We went back there. That's totally fine. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to sleep next to my husband, once I understand a little bit more, and etc. So I think, don't look at it as an experiment, and be really kind to yourself. I think that really helps. And now the plot twist. What was that about? We'll check this out. For every person that tells me I can't sleep next to my partner, I just have an equal amount of clients to say, I can't sleep without my partner. When my partner is on a trip, or when they're visiting their family or something like that, I just can't sleep without my partner. And again, it was like, when I saw this, it was like, it's so like notable that it's equally common to struggle with your partner as without your partner. I mean, that can really make us see that our partner that's not where it's at. It's not about our partner or the snoring or the movements. It's about, our thoughts and the way we see things, and again, having become scared of being awake. So that said, that'll be, at some point, that'll be its episode of its own, and then this, will be the plot twist, maybe. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and I want to say, if you find the teaching here helpful, you like what you hear, and you're finding your way out of the struggle, that is amazing. That's that. If you would like the teaching more contextualized to your story, some more personal attention, if you just want to share your story and get some guidance out of the struggle, then please head over to our website, thesleepcoachschool.com. We have many coaching options, and I think you can find one that suits you really nicely. With that said, again, thanks so much for being here. I look forward to having you back here soon. And until then, take it easy.